Everybody, welcome to Rock the Pink Live.
Rock the Pink Live, another Monday night of our live inspiration and training. We're so excited that y'all have tuned in. We're like surrounded by screens tonight, which is fun. Everyone watching from Facebook Live, you'll now be able to see in this little tiny screen our guests.
Yes.
Until we figure out a better option. See? Look,
There she is. Yes.
Hey, tiny is fine.
It's all right. It's all good. That
Sure.
So we've been going live on Facebook every week, and people just would hear, but they couldn't see anything. So she'll be small, but you'll at least be able to see her face.
So we're live to you on YouTube here and on rockthepinklive.com, and we're live on Facebook over here. Facebook, guys, you guys can give us hearts and likes. Make sure that you throw some of those out, and also maybe some
Click
questions
share.
toward the end. Yeah, share.
Click
Share the
share.
video.
Tonight, you guys, we have the most amazing Sapphire Ambassador on tonight, Dr.
Jessica Hoogendoorn.
I was going to try to say her name, but I knew it was going to be wrong. Hoogendoorn.
Yeah.
I was waiting to see how you were going to say it.
I was going to say Hoogendoorn, and then I remembered as I was getting ready to say it that I was going to say it wrong. But you guys, Jessica is on tonight. She's a Sapphire Ambassador, and she is a
naturopathic
I'm
doctor
not going to talk.
and master herbalist, and she has a whole bunch of other certifications behind her name that I didn't know what they meant, but I'm sure she's going to tell us.
She's smarter than we are.
Yes. So,
Oh, no.
Guys, we had an awesome time this week.
Yeah.
Got to do the opportunity tour, and that was a blast. And we're just ready to rock. There's so many amazing things happening in Plexus right now. We're getting ready to have a huge announcement on May 6th. Like, it's all over the place. And if you're not a part of Plexus, you're going to want to be for sure.
So we spent 3 nights last week having dinner with the president of Plexus, Alec Clark. And the energy, the excitement around the future of Plexus, it was contagious. Like, it was seriously something incredible.
And there's seriously so many new things that are coming that, Plexus has done amazing. We're over a $500 million company right now in just, 8 years?
Record-breaking months right now.
But I tell you what, we're about to blow the lid off.
I mean, 4 years in, and we're still having, we're growing at a rate faster than ever. And we're 4 years in, just getting started. Like, there is not a better, more exciting time than right now in Plexus.
So with that all said, we are, again, excited because we never start a show without failing to say that we are excited.
That's right, we are excited. So Tim has a cut right here, and I just realized it, but you guys want to know what that's from? That's from I
was trying to put a head lantern on last
night.
Like
a headlight on, and it fell down on
my nose.
Nose.
Hurt. Yep. Anyway, so Jessica Hoogendoorn is on with us tonight, and I think we're going to bring her on right now.
Yeah,
hey, Jessica.
Hey, I am so excited to be on.
We are pumped that you're on with us, and I guess it's interesting that there's so many amazing people in this company, and I get to meet all these amazing new people all the time. And I was just thrilled a couple months ago when I reached out to you that you said that you'd be willing to come on with us.
Hey, I was honored. I felt like I was being asked by celebrities to walk the red carpet or something, so I think it's me.
Well, let's hear your story. I want to hear about. How did you get started in Plexus?
Well, first of all, tell us what all your certifications are and everything.
Tell us how smart you are.
Oh, goodness. Well, I'm a naturopath doctor. I kind of started out as a master herbalist, and I loved it so much. I thought, why not keep going? So I went up to become a certified natural health professional and then a naturopath doctor. And about 11 years ago, I was at a class where there was a doctor who taught on GAPS, healing the gut through diet and healing the brain. So long story short, I became a GAPS practitioner, and that really ties into what we're going to talk about tonight.
GAPS practitioner?
Yes, definitely not gas. We help people with gas. No.
I was like, wait a second, I was not hearing you right. Okay, say that
No,
again.
it's actually a GAPS, GAPS. It stands for Gut and Psychology Syndrome.
Okay,
so
GAPS, not gas. Okay,
definitely not gas.
I had never heard of a gas practitioner.
Okay.
GAPS. If you have gas, you want to go on GAPS or Plexus.
Okay.
Hello, everybody who's saying hello. Thank you. Okay, continue on.
So I guess you asked me how I got into Plexus, and I always have to chuckle because it was the start of one of the best friendships ever. So we all know Eva Schmidt, Diamond Ambassador in Canada. Yeah. And I got to tell you something about Eva. Eva is the world's best, most kindest stalker you'll ever meet. So we're on Facebook, and Facebook was, and I got this friend request from a lady named Eva Schmidt. And I'm like, who's Eva Schmidt? But it was back in the days where I was accepting every single friend request. And there's this incredible, persistent lady I soon discovered very quickly. And I guess one of the things, if you're in the health profession, you soon learn that you're approached by every single company known to man constantly with the world's best products. And so needless to say, I've become very cynical about anything network marketing. And so when she wants me to look at her probiotic, she sends me this probiotic and it's only $24.95. And we were living in Kentucky at the time. And in my head, I'm like, honey, you have to have a license to sell my probiotic. Why would I want a $24.95 probiotic? No thanks.
I love that. That's hilarious.
And she's like, but you really ought to look at it. And I'm like, I don't even know who you are. No. I was nicer, but no. And she was just, one thing about Eva, she's the most persistent person, but she's so sly about it that you hardly really know when you're being taken in. So she would comment on my pictures and she'd send messages to me, and she became a true friend. And that's one thing, that's the only thing that kept me from blocking her. I was very tempted, but she was so nice. I could hardly hurt this really nice person. And so for 8 months, she would chat and she would say, hey, can I give you a call one night? And I'm like, I didn't want to say no. So I said yes. And it turned out to be an awesome conversation. So one thing that Eva did is, and it's kind of was a teaching tool for me later on. She, there's a saying that I'm sure everybody knows, that facts tell, but stories sell. Mm-hmm. And so she would have these stories, probably she would post them and then like something. So it came up on my wall. I don't know. She's good that way. But, I kept seeing all these stories, and in spite of myself, I was so intrigued, but on principle, I was never going to do this. And then there was a testimony that came up on X Factor that had a lot of awesome studies behind it. And because of those studies, and I read them, I thought, you know what? I had leukemia 7 years prior. At the time, it was actually 4 years prior. She'd been 4 years cancer-free, and I thought, you know what? I was always having her on something as a preventive, because even though she did wonderful, in fact, the doctor said, you don't even have to come back for all your regular checkups after a shorter period of time, because her blood counts had never dropped through all of her treatment, through everything. And so, I always know, you want to be preventive. So I thought it's not going to hurt. I briefly looked at all the ingredients, nothing dangerous. And so I got her the Triplex and the X Factor, and I was giving them to her almost a week to the day. And I was in the kitchen cooking, and she comes up to me and she kind of like just lays on the floor. And Tori, her name is Tori. She is such an outgoing child. I'm like, what's going on here? And we homeschool, and she's like, Mom, I just don't really feel the greatest. And I said, well, go lay on the couch and I'll go get something. And we just do your schoolwork. And she's like, Mama, I don't even think I can concentrate. I just don't feel good. So I love essential oils. I'm an oil fanatic. And I said, well, I'm going to go get some oils and you can just relax. So I went upstairs to the living room, and went upstairs and got some oils. And when I came down into the living room, she was laying on the couch about 10 feet away from me. And when I walked into the living room, you know how smells take you places? Well, I walked into the living room, and the first thing I smelled was this overwhelming odor of a medication she had been on. And this is, 4 years free. All of a sudden, I'm like, what's going on? So I didn't say anything to her. I just said, honey, come sit in my lap. And when she did, I said, smell your skin once. And she's like, Mom, I smell just like the chemo hospital. And my mind just going wild. And so I stuck her in our infrared sauna. Huh?
Sorry, that's wild.
It is wild. I smelled her across the room. So we have an infrared sauna we had gotten when she was in treatment. And I said, honey, go grab a bunch of books, because she will sit in there for as long as I let her and read, and go hop in the sauna. And I'm thinking, whatever this is, we're going to sweat it out. So she was delighted. She hopped in the sauna. That week she broke out in some acne. And if you know different signs on the face to look for, I could tell that she wasn't feeling herself. And so it was almost to a day, a week later from that. Like the smell wasn't near as strong, it kind of faded over the week. And I was in the kitchen cooking again, and she comes up to tell me something. She's a very personable child. My face, and she opens her mouth to talk to me, and I'm like, oh my word, that horrible smell again, just overwhelming. So I didn't say anything to her. I just said, honey, cup your hands and blow into them. And she's like, Mom, I smell like chemo again. Well, I remember standing there. I stuck her back in the sauna. And I remember standing in the kitchen thinking, something is happening here and it's pretty stinking awesome, but what is it? Because I knew that her body was getting rid of junk. And I thought, what am I doing different? The only thing I'm doing different is I'm giving her some of these crazy products. And so that evening, I put her and my hubby to bed. Everybody was sleeping, and I come down to my living room, and I'm on the couch, and I opened up Facebook, and I started bringing up all this information that I've been looking at for almost 8 months. And I took every bottle that we have, and I started going ingredient by ingredient, going over them. And when I actually opened my mind, because I was so intrigued at this point, when I opened my mind to the fact that maybe this Eva lady has something, you know, to all she's been giving me, I started to be able to actually realize it. So the more I studied, the more excited I got, because as a GAPS practitioner, our whole focus is, instead of treating symptoms, is to treat and heal the body from the inside out. So what I started seeing was, what makes this different than the 1,000 other companies that I've been approached with, and why people that I had been watching for 8 months, annoyed but watching, why they were having these amazing results. You are so annoying. I'm annoying too now. I'm that crazy annoying lady. But what I started getting so excited, because what all the pieces were falling together. What was making Plexus so different was because it was doing so much of the same thing. It was starting to target the gut, which is where 80% of our immune system is, and it was starting to help the body heal, give it the tools it needs. So that was around December, 30 hours of research before I even opened my mouth, because to me personally, if I put my name behind something, I put 13 years of reputation on the line. So I couldn't just go say, you know, something is good because I'm super excited, even though that's my personality. So in November, I put in over 40 hours of research. By December, I think it was close to 80, just going over the ingredients, reading research, looking at testimonies, and putting pieces together. So December, I am so fired up. I'm ready to put my name behind it. I started messaging people. Now, I got to tell you, one other part of the story was, I told Eva, I don't care how awesome this is. I'm not going to do it as a business. So I don't even want to know how to log into my back office. If you want me to take these products, you have to order them. I'll give you my credit card, but I'm not going to be logging in doing Plexus. So every time I wanted to order, I'd have to call Eva, and she patiently ordered. She said, I would never do this for anybody else, she told me after. But I think that if you get going, so December rolls around. All December, I've been messaging people wildly. I was getting notifications, you're silver. And I'm like, what's silver? Oh my goodness, you're gold. And I'm like, what's gold? And finally, Eva calls me up late one night. She says, Jessica, look at this. Do you want to know what your first check is? And I said, well, whatever. I was talking to someone else and really wasn't paying that much attention. She said, are you sitting down? I'm like, yeah. And when she told me, I was glad I was sitting down, because this is like half of my husband's wage. And it's the first month of me talking to people. So my husband was sleeping, and I ran upstairs and I shook him, because you have to basically hold his nose and mouth shut to get him to wake up. And I'm like, honey, you cannot believe what I just made on this company I'm not doing anything with. And so that was December, and it was over Christmas. And I got a call from a lady who had been driving through, and she had stopped in our place in November for a health issue she had with her wrist. And she was having such good results. And then she saw me talking on Facebook, and she says, Jessica, you got to come out to Colorado and share with us what you're finding with Plexus. And while you're out here, tell us about the compensation plan, because I hear it's a pretty good company. And I'm just thinking, oh my word, I don't even know how to log into my account. What compensation plan? But I kind of had to act a little professional, because, you know, whatever. So I said, honey, we got to start studying. And I called Eva, I got to know what my login is here. I'm going to give a presentation. So Eva and Andrew had stopped in, and they actually on their Emerald trip, and they told us about the compensation plan. So I just panicked, and I had to put together a presentation I'm so embarrassed about now. But we went out to Colorado, and I started really seeing the potential, because I started, at this point, I was hearing results, and people were getting passionate, and I was getting excited, because I finally felt that we had something that would complement what I was already doing. People's diet is everything, and when you can come along and add to that, you have an unstoppable gift of gold in your hands. Oh. So I decided, if I can make half of what my husband makes in a month's time, what about if I could make more so he could come home? Because we've been praying for 12 years for him to be able to be a stay-at-home dad. And we've done a lot of different things, but it was just never the right thing for him to be able to actually quit his job. So in May, I went Senior Ruby, and we were walking at, I think it was convention somewhere, and Eva and Kristen Abart and I were walking together, and she said, well, what are you? And I said, well, I just went Senior Ruby this month. And I said, what would it take for me to be able to go to Hawaii? Because a bunch of Jules were talking, and I was thinking, that'd be kind of cool. But Kristen said, you know what, you're Senior Ruby, and it's May. It can't be done. And Eva was like, you can do it. And I said, Kristen's like, yeah, I mean, maybe, but you know, it's pretty much impossible. Well, if you know the colors.
That's a game plan for her. I know her.
Yes, she is so crafty. She was probably cackling inside, but she just totally looked at me and said, there's no way you can do that. And I looked at Eva and I said, yeah, I said, basically, like, let's just watch me. And I already internally, I was hyperventilating, because how was I going to double points in a month's time, basically May, June? So I developed the motto in my mind, meetings make money. And I told my husband, I said, there's this Kristen lady. She said, I can't do it, so I have to do it. So she says she didn't say it quite that way, but she did. Yeah. So I actually ended up almost dying, but I went Emerald by July 31st. And that was my first Hawaii trip. And so you guys, I tell you, it has been so exciting. Sometimes my husband and I look at each other. He was able to quit his job. And we look at each other at different times and kind of laugh, like, what are we in our mid-30s, basically retired, having way too much fun, doing things we never, ever dreamed we could do. And it's just like, this is too good to be true. And the most for me as a person who's first about health, the results I'm getting, I tell people, are better results than I had in 13 years of practice. Because I used to have good results, but I felt like I more help people manage what they had. And now we're just knocking things out of the ballpark left and right, because we are addressing root causes. And that is so exciting to me.
Wow. Yeah. Wow. Okay, so first of all.
Oh, gosh, how are we gonna do that?
Let's come through here. So we're getting loads and loads of hearts and people commenting on this.
Crazy.
Yeah, we have a lot of people watching, and so this is exciting. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I think your story is like the perfect example of, if you just go and your focus is just to help enough people, your rank will take care of itself. Mm-hmm. Like when you didn't even
definitely,
you had no idea what you were doing besides you were trying to help people get results. That's what, I mean, that is just the beauty of this company, because we are results based. We're not trying to sell something that's mediocre or that they could go to Walmart and get. No. This is a doctor. Like, she is seeing better results on Plexus because it's addressing root causes than she saw in 13 years.
I want to come back. Yeah. I want to come back to that one thing that you said.
Like shouting from the rooftop. People have no clue what we're a part of. If they knew what we were a part of, everyone would be diamond. Seriously.
You had to have a license to sell the probiotic that you
get preachy
sold, right? What kind of license? I didn't even know that even existed. What is that?
Well, basically, you have to be a naturopath doctor or something that has a certain level of degree to sell it. And I'm like telling Eva, my probiotic is double the price of yours. Mine has to be refrigerated. What do you think you have with this non-refrigerated cheapie here? And it's just like, now.
I love that.
Yeah, now I don't even. Yeah.
So many people come at it from that perspective. Yeah. Even people who don't have the education that you have come at it from that perspective. They think that because they're paying more, because it has to be refrigerated, tell us real quick, because I'm sure that you can do it pretty easily, why Plexus probiotic is so amazing.
What makes Plexus probiotic so amazing in so many ways, and I'm going to try not to be too green, but basically when you have a blend of enzymes that we have, it breaks down the biofilm of more than just Candida. It goes into the body and boosts the immune system exponentially in a very, very, very short time, which is why you always want to take it on an empty stomach. And then you add in Saccharomyces boulardii, which by itself, if you would buy it, is more expensive than our whole probiotic. And you have antifungals, which is addressing another whole aspect. We have, and we won't say what all we have because we can't, but probiotic is not just a probiotic. It is a house cleaner. And so you always want to take it on an empty stomach, and you're going to be doing way more that's going on in your body than you ever dreamed possible, which is why we see so many other health issues dealt with than just Candida, than just, gut issues. We're doing so much more.
Okay, so, okay, so here's a question for you. What would you say, network healthy?
I have to be compliant here now.
Yeah. Okay, we lost connection there for a second, but we're okay.
What would you say to somebody?
Sorry, everybody, we lost connection, but we're back.
Okay, what would you say to somebody who's watching on Facebook or YouTube that is just a complete skeptic, and they are, they're very, very natural, they're very like completely holistic, but they're just skeptic of Plexus? Okay. And
I'm sorry, you right when you asked somebody who was what, it cracked out. I didn't hear you.
Well, first come back to this. Some people missed what you said at the last part. Basically finishing up why our probiotic was so incredible. There was a couple, I think, like the last minute of what you said there.
They can rewatch YouTube.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Well,
enzymes. Anytime you add enzymes to a product, you take that product and you amplify it in the body, and it will do probably 50 different things instead of just one, like a typical probiotic.
Okay, awesome.
Awesome. So tell us what you would tell like a real skeptic, like you were, a big snob of ingredients, natural person that they just will not give Plexus a try. What would you say?
Well, I love cynics. I love skeptics. I especially love men that like to make fun of Plexus, because really, really, once they understand the why, and if you can give them a reason why, what I tell people, when you're talking to someone, find out what matters to them and give them a why. The skeptic snob, I totally understand. And I guess that's a pretty hard one to answer, totally compliant. But a lot of times people are skeptic because they don't understand. And why we only have 2 billion, they don't understand why it doesn't have to be refrigerated. But basically in my presentation, when I talk to people, there's basically 3 root causes to anything that people are dealing with. And with Plexus, we address all 3. We address the major causes of health issues. And so what I kind of do is when people are really skeptical, I say, what is it that is holding you back? What is it that you want to compare? And so then we basically just go and say, I take it. If you're taking this, let's compare it. But I guess what I would tell people is start Googling the root causes of poor health and start looking at the ingredients. If you don't go and type in on Google Plexus. If you're truly a skeptic and you are as cynical as you say you are, take our ingredients and go over the ingredients, because they've been used for thousands of years. They have more studies behind them than anything as the ingredients. And that's what I did. I looked up every herb, everything. And a lot of them I recognize because I use them for years. But don't take the product and say it doesn't have all these studies. Take the ingredients. They have thousands of studies.
Love it.
That's good.
Yes.
That's really good.
And the results, the proof is in the pudding.
Well, that's what I actually had this conversation last week. We were in Ohio, in Columbus, and there was a girl there that she said that she was a very big skeptic, and she said that she was looking at just a couple different ingredients that she just did not understand. And she said that now it's like the proof is in the pudding, though. When you see people getting these types of results, I mean, yes, you just can't second guess. I mean, I think that's for us. I mean, these products literally turned our family's health around. And it's like, yes, that was enough. I mean, are you kidding me? My family's off of medications that was hurting their liver. You know what I mean? Like, what else am I going to question?
Yeah. And for me, I just, you know, there's no reason in the world not to give Plexus a 60-day try when you get your money back anyway. And if you don't love them for any reason, and I think that that's where I just always look at people and go, but you know, you can say all of these things, but what about what it actually does?
Yeah.
And that's where it really, I mean, that's where the rubber meets the road. So I have a question for our audience. If you guys want to, would you all please send us a few questions, maybe that you'd like us to ask Jessica, and we will try to do that.
Let's put Jessica on the spot. I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. You know what I tell people is, you know, they say 60 days, but if I would tell what I start right from the beginning is I tell them, you know, the first month, how your body reacts is going to give us a picture. The second month, we might start tweaking it. The third month, you're going to start noticing a difference. By month six months, you're going to be noticing a real difference. Yeah. And so what I encourage people to do is cast a long-term vision. So people aren't expecting anything big till 6 months, but they're shocked in between.
Yeah.
And that is really how natural healing works. And when you do that, you have such better results because people aren't thinking, I want to lose 20 pounds in the first 2 months.
That's awesome.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. So probably not going to go with that last question, keeping it compliant.
Yeah, we have to be careful about some of the stuff that we say on here. And we would love to ask some of these questions. But let's see here.
Does Plexus interfere with prescription medication? Someone asked.
That's a really great question to answer compliantly. Of course, you want to ask your doctor. I would love to answer that one. But really, basically, what you really want to do is, number one, ask your doctor. And anything to do with thyroid, separate it by 4 hours. Everything else by 2 hours or whatever. If your doctor says something different, but definitely there.
Okay.
Okay,
good.
2 or 4 hours.
I would love to answer that in a different way. I'd love for you to take what you're doing and go on Facebook and find a testimony of someone who has what you had, who is now off that medication, and put 2 and 2 together. If they were taking Plexus and they're off, were they taking Plexus with it to get off? So.
Wonder.
I wonder.
What about our X Factor? Why is our X Factor so amazing?
Oh, I love that question. X Factor is actually why I got into Plexus. So if you think of aloe, just put it totally apart. Think of what people use aloe for. It's such a powerful healing plant in and of itself. And the studies show that when you put aloe topically on anything, it increases healing by 121%. So picture a person's body who has a serious gut issue or who has discomfort going on all throughout their body, and you just give them aloe alone. It's going in and it's soothing and it's healing and it's increasing raising the pH. Aloe alone has so many healing benefits. But aloe, along with oxygenation and enzymes and all these, play together to increase absorption. So when someone has a digestive issue, if they have any digestive issues, and if they have a health issue, they have a digestive issue. So basically, when someone starts taking supplements, they have a very hard time absorbing. So when you take aloe in, and plus you're having our oxygenated our bio cleanse, you have the enzymes and the probiotic, that all helps the body to heal and to grab a hold of nutrients and help it absorb. And because the aloe is in there, it's helping the gut to heal so much more. So we're having a double whammy. We're having absorption finally, which is why we don't pee yellow. We're having the powerful healing of aloe, and we just don't have any aloe. We have a patented aloe blend. So to me, I say that's an immune boosting multivitamin on steroids, second to none. But I also take my aloe I take my X Factor with the Slim and everything else, because the aloe in there is going to help the Slim and everything else absorb that much better.
That's awesome. Okay, somebody asked, what kinds of meetings did you hold to go Emerald? And I've always said, I mean, I never wanted to speak in front of people, but that was what got me to do meetings, was meetings make money. Like someone told me that, and I wanted to make money. And so I started doing meetings. So tell us about meetings and why that's the moneymaker.
I would love to. You know what I tell people? One of the things I teach my team that I think a lot, they probably get tired of me saying it, is you're getting up front of people and you're selling yourself. You're not selling Plexus, you're selling you. You don't know that much about Plexus. Let's say you're just starting out and you don't have your own story yet. That's not an excuse not to share. You take someone's story who inspired you, who you saw, and you tell their story with passion. You don't get up there and talk apologetically ever about Plexus. So if you're going to have a meeting and you have just the triplex, find 6 things that you can memorize, stand in front of the mirror and share those 6 things with passion. When you walk up to the front of the room, share it with confidence. And if you can start from day one, like I had researched Plexus and everything like that, but the facts were like boom, boom, boom there. But I was so excited that people told me after I was done their meeting, your confidence, you actually believe I can do that. And I said, without a doubt. And they said, your confidence, I'm buying into you believing in me more than I'm even buying into anything. And so meetings make money because you can talk to a bunch of people at one time, and you can get up front and you can share what you know, be it little or small. Don't regurgitate over them, but share it with passion and share it with confidence. And I truly think that the meetings, what we did, I made them fun. I asked a lot of questions. How many people do you know struggle with digestive issues? How many people do you know have afternoon slumps? And they started thinking about themselves. How many tired mamas? How many single moms? How many doctors and nurses on the night shift? Well, right then they started thinking of people. So I want you to keep those people in mind as we talk tonight, because we're going to tell you we have answers for you that are going to change those people's lives. Are you tired here today? We can help you. And so I think with meetings, if you make them fun, don't think you have to know everything, but you share with belief and passion, people are going to buy you and they're going to want to be a part of a team that has someone who is confident leading them.
That's awesome.
Loved it.
Love it. Okay, one other question, because I think this is a good one. How do you talk to skeptics without sounding defensive? People take my passion for the products as a bad thing.
Well, I'll tell you something. It wasn't any facts that got me. It was the story. It was my daughter's story. And Eva always was so good at popping these testimonies. So it doesn't matter if you're a PhD, if you're a scientist, if you're a pharmacist. Yes, facts matters. Ultimately, I had to put my word behind it. But what actually got me was my daughter's story. And so facts tell, but stories sell. So when I'm talking to a skeptic, I don't go in there all about facts, because I'm just appealing to the left part of their brain. That's not where you make decisions. I go in there and say, I would love to share a story that changed my life. And I tell them the story, and my facts are just going to back up that story. And so if you have a skeptic, you have as many stories as you have facts. And a lot of times people say, I don't care about the testimonies. I didn't care a hoot about the testimonies for 8 months. But it was intriguing enough that when I finally saw what I saw, my belief, I was ready to go. It was because of the stories.
That's good.
It's awesome. And I think that it's important to point out that Eva Schmidt friended her, did not know her before Plexus, right?
I didn't hear you, cracked out.
Eva friended you
on Facebook, but didn't know you.
Didn't know you.
I never met her till she was Emerald and came to visit me, and I don't know what rank I was at that point. I never met Eva. I didn't know her from Adam.
Okay, so Eva pursued Jessica. Pursued her. And not just pursued her, but she was like a bulldog. But the biggest thing that got her was her persistence and her friendship. And I mean, like, Eva pursued you.
Yes. I almost unfriended her so often.
She almost unfriended her so often, in case you missed that part, because you cut out a little bit. But I mean, seriously, I think that just goes to show you that so many people give up. Like, they give up because they were turned down, or they were ignored, or maybe someone they thought would be amazing. Maybe you know someone that's a doctor that's into natural stuff, and in your mind you thought they'd be amazing, and because they've ignored you a couple times, you've given up. Jessica, for 8 months, almost wanted to block Eva over and over and over again. And she
almost, I did. I did want to.
She did want to, sorry. And now she's a Sapphire ambassador.
Yes.
Plexus.
Big deal right there. And I love that too. You pointed this out, and I want to restate it, that it doesn't matter what your degree is. Facts tell, stories sell. People get so caught up and worried about how much this person knows, and that they might know more than me, and I don't know what I'm going to say to them. And that's the whole thing, is that's not what got your attention. And you're just saying that everybody's the same. We all make decisions the same way. And
we all make decisions based on emotion. Yep.
I love that. I love that. And so, and I think it makes perfect sense too,
Yeah.
because I know that my mind, I think I've thought in the past, you know, well, this person knows more than me. It's intimidated me. But what I hear you saying, and I want everybody out there to grab, is that don't be intimidated. Tell the story. Tell the story.
Yeah.
Learn how to tell your story with belief and passion, and that is ultimately what people really tie into.
Yeah, I love it.
People always want a script of some sort, and I'm like, what's the script? Is you. The script is your story. Like, share
And
your
there's other stories
Yes.
that you know.
And there's, yeah, the ones that got you going, the ones that got you excited. I mean, be
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
You be you.
That's so true.
Well, I think
Yeah,
that
that's
I think that we're going to have to stop now. I guess we've gone past the normal time limit, but this has been incredible, and I would just keep going. But
there's tons of
there's
questions
so many
people wanted to ask you. Of course, we'd be here all night, and most of it you couldn't answer anyways on live Facebook. So, anyways, the whole point of this is don't give up. Keep going. What else is the point tonight?
one thing to people is if you're scared to approach someone, there's a reason. And you, whether it takes you a little bit of time to plan a strategy, go after that person, because the reason you're scared is because you know that they could be someone dynamic. And so don't let that intimidate you, but let it be a challenge. Your story to be a better, confident you, and don't give up.
Love it. Gosh, there's
She's
so
good.
many
She's really good.
nuggets of amazingness in this
And
tonight.
listen, we thank you all for your attention and so many people being on this tonight, and all of your hearts and all your comments. Thank you, Plexus.